Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of Finish It. This is a bi-monthly-ish series I have where I am focusing on finishing series that I'm in the middle of because I'm reading too many and I need to finish some things. This is my middle grade March edition of this series, and it's also going to be a little bit different because this series is not complete. So I am really just going to be catching up because at the time that I started this challenge, I had only read book 1, and there are 4 books with book 5 coming out this fall, I believe. I will be reading the Misewa Saga by David A. Robertson for this video. And like I said, I have previously only read The Barren Grounds, and it's perfect because it's also middle grade March. That's the plan. I'm recording this intro after I've already read most of them, so I'm not quite sure how to do this intro after the fact, but yeah, I guess it can just be like a short and sweet intro, and we're gonna cut to me rereading The Barren Grounds because I wasn't sure how much I remembered because it's been a couple of years. And I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you're having a great middle grade March. Okay. Not bye. Okay, let's get into it. All right, I just dropped E off at school. I have an hour before I have to be at work. I also desperately need to clean my house. Somehow it got out of control. I don't know what happened. But I also wanted to update you for The Barren Grounds because I started my reread last night, and I am... what do we think this is? 40-ish% of the way through. And this starts with Morgan and Eli. Morgan is really our main character. She's the one whose POV we are very closely in. And my brain just totally stopped. Morgan and Eli are both in the foster care system, and they are both Indigenous. Eli was taken from his family at a slightly older age, so he has a lot of memories, and then Morgan was taken from her mom as a baby and doesn't remember anything of her birth family. Morgan has a lot of anger about that. Morgan just has a lot of anger in general, which I feel like is pretty, well deserved, well earned. Not that you need to earn anger, but anyways, and Morgan and Eli are in the attic one day, and Eli draws a picture of this bear person walking in like a winter wasteland, and they tape it, or they staple it to the roof of the attic, and it opens a portal into this other land called the Misewa. And they end up going through into this land and meeting some of the people that live there and embarking on a quest. And I have gotten to where they are through the portal, they are in the Misewa, and they have met Ochek, who is called a fisher, this bear person, and discovered that this land used to be different. It used to have seasons, but another human came through a portal years and years and years ago and ended up taking all the birds away from the land, and when all the birds left, then this eternal winter descended, and Ochek doesn't know how much longer his people can survive in this environment. And so they're about to go on their quest, and I like it. I love it. I think this is really fun. I think the writing is really good. I really like both Morgan and Eli. I think they're really relatable. I think this is a really fun portal fantasy for middle grade, and that's it. So nothing earth-shattering to update, but yeah, I'm having a good time. All right, I have a super quick update. I finished my reread of The Barren Grounds, and it was just as wonderful as I remembered it being the first time. I really like Morgan and Eli and their, dynamic with each other, the way they grow to like and care about each other, the way they form these relationships. I love the adventure in this. I love the themes and the messages, and I just thought this is such a good introduction to the world and to the type of adventures these two kids are going to go on. And yeah, I just all around I think this is great. And I'd forgotten how funny it was, and I don't know what it is, but anytime there is a squirrel character in a book, they're just my favorite. I don't know if it's the inherent personality that you must give a squirrel. I think it's the inherent personality we just assume all squirrels have. It's my favorite. This is my favorite, and I'm always a fan, and yes. So I finished this yesterday, and I listened to most of it on audio, though I did do a fair amount of reading with my eyeballs as well. Last time I think I exclusively listened to the audiobook, and I really like it. I like the narrator. I think they do a great job. And then I started book 2 last night, The Great Bear. I do not have access to this audiobook, so I'm only reading it with my eyeballs. And I got 87 pages in. So, you know, not too shabby for one evening of reading. This one picks up right as the Barren Grounds end. So the Barren Grounds, they set about to save Misewa from this eternal winter and to bring back the summer birds so that Misewa can have seasons again. And so they do that. Yay! I don't think that's a spoiler because it is middle grade. Like, obviously they're gonna, you know, it's gonna have a hopeful resolution. And then Morgan and Eli go through the portal to return back to their foster parents' house and get back, you know, at like 6 a.m. and crawl into their beds to sleep before having to wake up and, you know, go back to normal life. So this picks up 2 weeks in Earth time, but much longer in Misewa time because, of course, you know, with portal fantasy like this, you have to have time has to work differently so that the adults don't catch on to what the kids are doing. And so Morgan and Eli have spent a lot more time in Misewa with Eric and the other animals that live in this village, and they go home, and Eli has a lot of angst about returning back to Earth, or not angst, but he's upset. He doesn't want to go, and Morgan can't get the answer, can't get him to tell her why he doesn't want to go back and why he's so sad to be leaving this time, and comes to find out the next day that he is being bullied by kids in his class. And so I would watch out for that bullying, like, cause that was hard to read and sad. And I'm going to be vague because if I'm too specific, it's a spoiler for the Barren Grounds, but they are basically hatch a plan to try to time travel back in Misewa time to meet a character when they are younger. And that's the plot on the back, and that's basically what I've gotten through in the 40%-ish that I've read so far. And they're about to attempt the time travel and see if it works. I like this one, even though I would say there is heavier content in this one. I like it even better than I like the Barren Grounds. I think the writing is a little bit stronger because it's a book 2. Like, Morgan and Eli feel really familiar, so we're not having to spend a good chunk of the book like introducing their characters or introducing the world. And so the David A. Robertson is just able to jump right into the story, and I like that a lot. I think I gave this one 4.25 stars, and I can see this one being a really high 4. Maybe a 5. I don't know. We'll see. But I have good vibes so far. So that is your update, and I'll come back when I have finished this one. Hello, friends. It's Sunday, and I recorded an update the other day about finishing The Great Bear, and then absolutely hated the clip. So this is take 2, and we'll see how it goes. First of all, can I just say I am loving Realmathon. I'm not participating, so if you want more information, I can't help you, but because I follow so many booktubers who are doing Realmathon, there are all these public sprints going on, and so I have like one from yesterday pulled up with like a whole bunch of booktubers that I follow, and it's gonna keep me company while I catch up on stuff today. But anyways, so I finished The Great Bear. I'll just put the cover here because I'm too lazy to go grab the book. And I liked this one even more than the Barren Grounds. I gave it 4.5 stars. And I loved the themes in this one. So this one really strongly deals with grief. And I find that I'm really drawn to middle grade books that have themes of grief. I think it because as a society, we're so bad about talking about grief and recognizing grief and holding space for grief. And we're bad at doing it with adults, and then we're even worse at doing it with children. So I'm always very appreciative of middle grade books that tackle that topic. I think it's really useful to see for everyone, for children and adults and teens and whoever, to see it that modeled in literature. And so for this one, there's an action at the end of the Barren Grounds that really saddens Morgan and Eli. I'm trying so hard not to do spoilers, so bear with me while I pick my words carefully. And so there's an event that really saddens the kids. And book 2 opens almost right away with them really trying to handle the events of the first book and just still adjusting to living with their foster parents because, you know, Morgan has only been with them for 2 months and Eli has been with them for an even shorter amount of time. And Eli quickly becomes even more withdrawn than Morgan feels is not worth, but it feels a bigger reaction to what happened than is warranted. And so she's trying to figure out what's going on, and she and her friend Emily discover, partly through a series of events and partly from Eli, that Eli is being bullied by some kids in his class, and like pretty severe bullying. And because of that, like obviously has a lot of anxiety, does not want to go to school, doesn't want to be on Earth at all. Like he wants to be in Misewa as much as possible and probably would not come back to Earth if it weren't for Morgan. He'd just stay there permanently. So that's also a really big theme, is the bullying and just the topic of bullying and how it's not like bullies are not powerful. Like it feels like they're powerful, but they're not. And so I thought that theme was really well handled too. I really liked the events. There is like a time travel element in this book, which that was interesting. I don't know. Time travel always makes my brain hurt. I never quite understand how the time travel aspect is supposed to go. And then that book ended on a total cliffhanger. So I'm glad I'm not reading these as they're coming out, because I would have been so stressed if I'd had to wait a year in between the end of book 2 and the beginning of book 3. So because I'm redoing this clip a couple days later, I have started book 3, which is called The Stone Child. And I'm that far, page 85, chapter 12. And this one picks up right where The Great Bear leaves off. So I can't tell you a whole lot because we are dealing with the action that happened with the cliffhanger. I do like, so this is in the synopsis, so I'm not giving anything away. I do like that we're opening up the world a little bit in this one. And so Morgan's friend Emily has come to Misewa with them and is helping on this adventure. This one is a little bit darker than the other two, even though the other two do deal with like heavy things and like the stakes are pretty high and serious. This one I feel like it's even more so because of what happened at the end of book 2, and the adventure they're going on is just a little bit darker. They're going into the North Woods, and that is a little bit more bleak, a little bit more dangerous. They have more creatures that are actively trying to harm them, not necessarily because of evil intentions, but just because of their nature. But I love having Emily in this world with Morgan. I feel like Emily and Morgan, their dynamic is so good, and they're such a good friendship to have on the page. And it's shaking it up a little bit because like I feel like if it was just Eli and Morgan's dynamic, like that's great, but they definitely have a rhythm and a little bit of a repetition, and having Emily in here is really like up, but you know, it's something different. As always, writing is excellent. I've listened to most of these on audio. I really love the narrator. It's been the same narrator for all the books so far. So yesterday was super busy. My oldest was doing our state's Battle of the Books since December, and her team made it to regionals, which was yesterday. And so we were there. We were gone pretty much all day because we did regionals, and then sadly they got eliminated pretty early on, but that's okay. They were one of the youngest teams there. So, and the questions were really hard. Like they had 16 books. And at the point we get to regionals, the questions are about such little, like, minute details that don't matter to the plot or the themes of the book. It's just like, what is such and such character's, like, locker designation? What is this teacher's last name? What is the color of this book another character was holding? Like, it's really, like, minute stuff like that. So it was, I think, overall a good experience, but it was also very frustrating. For all involved, I feel. But then we went swimming and, you know, celebrated them because just getting to regionals was really cool. But so today is a much needed catch-up day. So I have a lot of chores I need to do. I have a ton of laundry. I just need to tidy in general. I need to dust. The bookshelves are looking rough. I also need to reorganize the bookshelf. I don't know that I'll necessarily show all of these because this isn't necessarily like a vlog, more like just a reading update vlog. But anyways, I'm going to unmute reading sprints and have that as like my body double while I get things done, and I'll be listening to this on audio. All right, and that's a wrap on the Stone Child. I did so much cleaning today, so thanks to chores for getting this audiobook listened to. Now I'm exhausted, but I didn't love this one as much as I liked the other ones. What I said earlier, I still stand by. I like that the dynamic has shifted. Where I struggled with this one, it's not a long book, but I felt like this book had 3 different endings. Like there were 3 distinct places where just listening to the audio book while I was cleaning, I was like, oh, this is the end of the book. And then it kept going. And we learned more about Morgan's birth family and introduced some more time travel elements, which I'm not super, I don't know, I'm leery of the time travel. I don't want that to become a regular thing because I feel like that could get old really fast. And this one, I don't know. I didn't love the ending for this one either. So we'll just have to see. I have the Portal Keeper. I'm not going to start it right away. I probably won't start it until maybe tomorrow morning. Just because I've been reading this series so fast, which is the point of like this video, but I can tell that I need a break from it a little bit before I dive into the Portal Keeper. Great progress. And we were going to walk to our little like downtown, but I'm exhausted from cleaning. Like I did normal cleaning and then I cleaned the bathrooms. So I'm beat, but I have friends who work at my indie bookstore and who own a local brewery, and the 2 businesses are teaming up together to do a grown-up book fair. So kids and I are gonna drive now and they're gonna get some ice cream, and then we're gonna go check out the book fair. I think that'll be fun. And then I will try to get some footage. Maybe I'm solo parenting now for like the rest of the week, and so my ability to get footage while also managing my children is not great. So we'll see. But if I don't get footage of that, then I will see you when I have an update for the Portal Keeper. Good morning, friends. Well, I finished The Portal Keeper, which is book 4 in the Misewa Saga this morning. It is so shiny. And so I am officially all caught up until book 5 comes out. I gotta find out when book 5 comes out because this ended on a big old cliffhanger. Also, this this series ended up being a little bit gay, and I was totally here for it. What a pleasant, delightful surprise to have queer characters show up. Like, I was not anticipating that, and it was so nice and absolutely adorable. And though this book was not absolutely adorable, that was adorable. These books just got darker and darker as we go. So in The Portal Keeper, did I do an update for this? I don't think I did. Okay, so we pick up right where The Stone Child left off. These books are kind of built to be binged because you just roll from one right into the other. There's no time, there's no passage of time, I think is what I'm trying to say. And so we learned a lot more about Morgan's family in this one, her birth family. We learned more about Eli's family. We got more details about why Eli was taken away from his family, but we still haven't really found out why Morgan was taken away from her mother. So hopefully in the next book that will get answered. But we got to see different parts of the other world. We got to meet new characters. There's a lot more violence in this one. It's still age appropriate, but there is an uptick in the violence, and the themes are a lot darker. There's a lot more, there's talk of police brutality and the way police treat brown people. There is themes of forcibly removing people from their home for gain, if that makes sense. I'm trying to not give anything away, but I also want to let you know what is in this book. This was so close to being 5 stars, and I gave it 4.75, which I hate doing that on Storygraph because it feels like if I'm giving it 4.75, why don't I just give it the 5 star? And that is a fair question. And I don't know, I really liked it, but it just didn't have, it's like there's a 5 star feeling, and I didn't have the 5 star feeling, even though I really, really, really liked this book. I do think this is my favorite so far, even though I hate that the cover changed. I don't know why they changed the cover style, but I don't like it as much as I like the other ones. That's super nitpicky though, and not the book's fault. Maybe when it comes out in paperback, they'll switch it back to the other style. Yeah, it was great. Loved it. I read this in basically a day. I started it yesterday morning, and I had 3 chapters left this morning. So I basically read it in one day. So that is the end of this episode of Finish It, though really this particular episode is more like catch up with it. Feels so good to finally be caught up in this series, and now I can just eagerly, impatiently await book 5, which I'm gonna put the cover and the release date if I can find it here, because yeah. And if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and if you want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, I feel like we have to do a bear emoji or a squirrel emoji. You can pick which one you want to do, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!